The type of liquor circulation system to be employed in evaporators with natural or forced circulation is determined mainly by the of the liquid. A. Viscosity. B. Density. C. Thermal conductivity. D. Corrosive nature. The correct answer is viscosity. In case of surface condensers, a straight line is obtained on plotting on an ordinary graph paper. A1 0.8, B 0.8, C2, D1 2. The correct answer is 1 0.8. Thermal diffusivity is the most important in heat transfer by A. Conduction, B. Radiation, C. Condensation, D. Natural convection. The correct answer is conduction. NGRX and PR is called the number. A. Graetz, B. Rayleigh, C. Nusselt, D. Stanton. The correct answer is Rayleigh. A dephlegmator is A. Total condenser, B. Vacuum evaporator, C. Partial condenser, D. Double pipe heat exchanger. The correct answer is partial condenser. A tank painted with which of the following colored paints would heat up maximum by radiation from sun? A. Yellow paint, B. White paint, C. Black paint, D. Gray paint. The correct answer is black paint. The separation of liquid droplets from the vapor is done by an in the evaporators. A. Steam ejector, B. Entrainment separator, C. Compressor, D. Vacuum pump. The correct answer is entrainment separator. If a single tube pass heat exchanger is converted to two pass, then for the same flow rate the pressure drop per unit length in tube side will A. Increase by 1.8 times, B. Decrease by 2 C. Increase by 216, D. Remain unchanged. The correct answer is increase by 216. A steel sphere of radius 0.1 m at 400 K is immersed in an oil at 300 K. If the center of the sphere reaches 350 K in 20 minutes, how long will it take for a 0.05 m radius steel sphere to reach the same temperature at the center under identical conditions? Assume that the conductive heat transfer coefficient is infinitely large. A. 5 minutes, B. 10 minutes, C. 20 minutes, D. 40 minutes. The correct answer is 5 minutes. Fluid motion in the natural convection heat transfer between a solid surface and a fluid in contact with it results from the A. Existence of thermal boundary layer, B. Temperature gradient produced due to density difference, C. Buoyancy of the bubbles produced at active nucleation site, D. None of these. The correct answer is none of these. Evaporator tubes are generally A. Horizontal, B. Vertical, C. Inclined, D. Random. The correct answer is vertical. In a boiling curve, the peak heat flux is called the point. A. Nusselt, B. Leidenfrost, C. Boiling, D. Burnout. The correct answer is burnout. Pick out the wrong statement. A. Heat transfer from a hot body to cold body by the emission of heat waves is called radiation. B. Film-phase condensation takes place on non-wettable surfaces. C. The boiling point of a solution is affected by liquid head as well as boiling point elevation. D. None of these. The correct answer is film-phase condensation takes place on non-wettable surfaces. H.dk is called the number. A. Nusselt, B. Peclet, C. Rayleigh, D. Grashoff. The correct answer is Nusselt. Prandtl number is the ratio of A. Mass diffusivity to thermal diffusivity, B. Momentum diffusivity to thermal diffusivity, C. Thermal diffusivity to mass diffusivity. D. Thermal diffusivity to momentum diffusivity. The correct answer is momentum diffusivity to thermal diffusivity. Conductance is given by where x thickness A heat flow area K thermal conductivity. A x ka, B ka x, C k x, D A k x. The correct answer is ka x. Heat flux as defined in heat flow is analogous to in electricity flow. A current, B voltage, C resistance, D none of these. The correct answer is current. The wavelength at which the maximum monochromatic emissive power occurs for a black body is where T absolute temperature of the black body. A T, B 1 T, C T 4, D independent of T. The correct answer is 1 T. In a shell and tube heat exchanger, putting a longitudinal baffle across the shell forces the shell side fluid to pass through the heat exchanger. A once, B twice, C thrice, D 4 times. The correct answer is twice. When the ratio of the Grashoff number n to the square of Reynolds number is 1, the dominant mechanism of heat transfer is A. Free convection, B. Entry length problem in laminar forced conduction developing thermal boundary layer, C. Mixed convection both free and forced, D. Forced convection. The correct answer is mixed convection both free and forced. The purpose of providing bleed points in the evaporator is to A. Admit the feed, B. Remove the product, C. Facilitate removal of non-condensable gases, D. Create vacuum. The correct answer is facilitate removal of non-condensable gases. Water always boils when its A. Temperature reaches 100 C. B. Vapor pressure equals 76 centimeters of Hg. C. Saturated vapor pressure equals the external pressure on its surface. D. Saturated vapor pressure is less than the atmospheric pressure. The correct answer is saturated vapor pressure equals the external pressure on its surface. A multiple effect evaporator as compared to a single effect evaporator of the same capacity has A. Lower heat transfer area, B. Lower steam economy, C. Higher steam economy, D. Higher solute concentration in the product. The correct answer is higher steam economy. Which is the most suitable for cold viscous feed? A. Forward feed, B. Backward feed, C. Mixed feed, D. Parallel feed. The correct answer is backward feed. Dropwise condensation is promoted on an surface. A. Glazed, B. Oily, C. Coated, D. Smooth. The correct answer is oily. At PR1, conduction in an ordinary fluid flowing through a heated pipe is limited to the A. Buffer zone, B. Turbulent core, C. Both A and B, D. Viscous sublayer. The correct answer is viscous sublayer. In a single evaporator system, the steam economy by creating vacuum in the evaporator A. increases, B. decreases, C. remains constant, D. may increase or decrease depends on the vacuum. The correct answer is increases. Is called the number A. Pecklet, B. Stanton, C. Grates, D. none of these. The correct answer is Grates. Nucleate boiling is promoted A. on polished surfaces, B. on rough surfaces, C. in the absence of agitation, D. none of these. The correct answer is on rough surfaces. In forced circulation, the heating element is injected A. internally, B. externally, C. both A and A, D. neither A nor B. The correct answer is internally. If all the conditions and dimensions are same, then the ratio of velocity through the tubes of a double-pass heat exchanger to that through the single-pass heat exchanger is A1, B2, C12, D4. The correct answer is 2. The equation in Cent F2 is the analogy. A. Colburn, B. Reynolds, C. Prandtl, D. None of these. The correct answer is Reynolds. Boiling point elevation for a strong and concentrated solution is found by Dewey-Ring's rule, which states that at the same pressure the boiling point of a solution is a linear function of the of pure water. A. Boiling point, B. Dynamic viscosity, C. Kinematic viscosity, D. Density. The correct answer is boiling point. Rate of crystallization does not depend upon the A. extent of supersaturation, B. turbulence within the solution, C. number and active surface area of the crystals, D. none of these. The correct answer is none of these. Stephan's block-body radiation law can also be derived from law A. Kirchhoff's, B. Planck's, C. Fourier's, D. none of these. The correct answer is Planck's. Multipass heat exchangers are used A. because of simplicity of fabrication, B. for low heat load, C. to obtain higher heat transfer coefficient and shorter tube, D. to reduce the pressure drop. The correct answer is to obtain higher heat transfer coefficient and shorter tube. A hollow sphere and a solid sphere of the same material and equal radii are heated to the same temperature. In this case, the cooling rate will be the same for the two spheres, and hence the two spheres will have equal temperatures at any instant. B. Both the spheres will emit equal amount of radiation per unit time in the beginning. C. Both will absorb equal amount of radiation from the surrounding in the beginning. D. Both up C. The correct answer is both up C. Condensing film coefficient for steam on horizontal tubes ranges from 5000 to 15,000 cal hr.m. C. Condensation of vapor is carried out inside the tube in a shell and tube heat exchanger when the A. higher condensing film coefficient is desired. B. Condensate is corrosive in nature. C. Lower pressure drop through the exchanger is desired. D. Temperature of the incoming vapor is very high. The correct answer is condensate is corrosive in nature. When does the heat generated by fluid friction becomes appreciable compared to the heat transferred between the fluids? A. At high fluid velocity, B. at low velocity, C. when fluid flows past a smooth surface, D. none of these. The correct answer is at high fluid velocity. The Sieder-Tate correlation for heat transfer in turbulent flow in pipe gives nu Re 0.8, where nu is the Nusselt number and Re is the Reynolds number for the flow. Assuming that this relation is valid, the heat transfer coefficient varies with the pipe diameter ds. A. d 1.8, B. d 0.2, C. d 0.2, D. d 1.8. The correct answer is D 0.2. A long iron rod initially at a temperature of 20 C has one end dipped in boiling water 100 C at time t0. The curved surface of the rod is insulated so that heat conduction is one-dimensional in the axial direction. The temperature at a distance 100 mm from the dipped end becomes 40 C at time t200 S. The same temperature is achieved at a distance of 200 mm from the dipped end at time AT283 S, BT356 S, CT400 S, DT800 S. The correct answer is T800 S. LMTD for evaporators, condensers for a given terminal parameters set of conditions for counterflow is equal to that for parallel flow. In such heat exchangers with one of the fluids condensing or evaporating, the surface area required is the least in the flow. A. Parallel. B. Mixed. C. Counterflow. D. Same in either A, B or C. The correct answer is same in either A, B or C. Thermal diffusivity of a material. A has the unit m2 sec. B is defined as K. Cp. C is the ratio of thermal conductivity to thermal capacity. D. All A, B and C. The correct answer is all A, B and C. Viscosity of gases with increase in temperature. A. Increase very rapidly. B. Increase slowly. C. Decrease slowly. D. Remain unaffected. The correct answer is increase slowly. What is the emissivity of a black body? A. 1. B. 0. C. 0.90. D. 0.5. The correct answer is 1. Steam is routed through the tube in case of an evaporator. A. Basket type. B. Horizontal tube. C. Short tube vertical. D. Long tube vertical. The correct answer is horizontal tube. Dropwise condensation of steam on cooling surface is promoted. A. An oily surface. B. When both the steam and the tube are clean. C. Only in presence of air. D. None of these. The correct answer is an oily surface. Conduction occurs in the buffer zone for a fluid flowing through a heated pipe only when Prandtl number is A. 0.1, B. 1, C. 1, D. L. The correct answer is 0.1.